This is Matt Russell, and welcome to the DailyFX Forum.
Hello and welcome to the DailyFX Forum Highlights video for November 23rd. So just scanning through the forums tonight, a post that I wanted to comment on, an excellent post here by Sandpiper in terms of clock watching. And I like the honesty here by Sandpiper. It's a question that he has about the market, and this is one of the benefits of the forum. You come on here and you post something. Sandpiper, obviously intelligent, puts forth his sort of, in terms of his experience, what he feels is going on during those reversal times, and he goes ahead and he posts all the different charts and specific times that the market might reverse. Now, one of the things he does say here that I will disagree with is right here, one of the ways I can make sense out of what is happening as the central banks manipulate price is watching for key reversal times. Now, I got to stop you right there in terms you're giving way too much power to central banks manipulating price action. It really doesn't work like that. It's central bank members are probably on the golf course on the 8th hole, lining up a putt or something like that, rather than sitting in collusion deciding which way to push the buy or sell the euro. It really doesn't work like that. And this also reminds me of when fundamental news releases are released and certain people write about those releases, and I like to often read the comments when price action moves one way and then moves the other way, and it's sort of like giving this power to big boys, looking at the news. Well, when the news came out, traders, thought this way, and then they got together and all of a sudden they thought a different way, and I have an image of, maybe two traders meeting on the street saying, well, how'd you feel about the news? And one trader gives his opinion. Well, I didn't think of it that way. Let me go and sell the euro. I concur. And they get to get, it really doesn't work like that. What's closer to the truth, what's reality, is like a little kid on a roller coaster. It's just a pure emotional response to price action which is causing the movement. And now, what I will say in terms, and I'll go ahead and give my opinion, and certainly I can be wrong, but the way I view it in terms of clock watching, and it's certainly a legitimate way to watch the market, because obviously certain times are going to become more active, and the way I would view it is that the only thing you can be sort of I would never want to say guaranteed, but the tendency is during those times is that you're going to get movement. And again, it's really just a matter of when all those traders get to their desks and when all those orders are pushed out and hit the market. And when that happens, that's when the emotional response to those orders starts to occur, and that's when you get the movement. And I always would caution against that sentiment in terms of big boys getting together in collusion and sort of deciding the fate of the euro dollar for the next 25 minutes. Again, this is the more accurate depiction of reality. And another thing that I want to mention, and what I will say is, something you can look for is what I like to see is counter trend moves prior to those reversal times, and the key reversal time is usually the London Open, about 3 a.m. So when you see a counter trend move prior to 3 a.m., and let's say it's even maybe during the Asian session, you see prices slowly drifting in a counter trend direction, I would say that the odds have increased that when the London Open occurs, that the regular trend or the overall trend will begin to reassert itself. Now, when I make that statement, again, that's a very generalized statement. We're speaking about odds here. So rather than a normal throwing a dart at a dartboard 50-50 chance of something happening, you're talking about maybe a 55 to 60% chance of the overall trend reasserting itself. Again, my name is Matt Russell, and please stay tuned for a preview of the DailyFX. I want to take this opportunity to formally welcome you all to the DailyFX forums. I want to go through the process of how I personally access the forums and how maybe you at home, if you want to access the forums in the future, might do so. The first thing you would do is go to www.dailyfx.com, and that will bring up, obviously, dailyfx.com, and usually there on the upper right hand corner I'll go ahead and click on where it says forum, and that will bring up the first page of the forums. And this view, I personally don't use this view, but this view actually shows you the most recent posts on all the threads within the different sections and a little detail about those posts, so you can read through and see if there's something catches your interest. But but personally I go ahead and just click on forums and view them in the more traditional sense. Now these are different threads within the forum. There's a section on education such as DailyFX course instructor tips, which would be good for newer traders, and then for more advanced traders. And I just want to go ahead, personally the way I use the forums is I would go through the individual threads just looking for trade ideas, maybe looking at charts, looking at certain lines that maybe I didn't put up on my chart but another trader might have put up on their chart. I tend to shy away from using direct trade recommendations from other forum members, but it helps me to sort of even out my analysis, make sure that I'm seeing things with the right mind in terms of I might be missing stuff that other traders can see, and that's my personal way of using the forum. Every trader is going to be a little bit different in how they use it. So if you want to ask questions, if you want to become an active participant of the members, you would have to go ahead and register. So that's what I'm going to go through now, is the registration process. So assuming you're brand new to the forums, or maybe you've been here a few times and you're not really sure how it works, so I just want to walk through again the registration process. This would be the front page where you would access, or the previous page. You'd have the same little box here on the left hand side. Obviously, my username and password are already filled out here, but assuming you're a new member, you would click on where it says register, and that will bring up the registration page. If you give me one moment here while my browser loads. And actually first we're going to have some terms of service and DailyFX forum rules. I do suggest reading through the forum rules. Obviously, profanity and spam and things like that are not allowed, but it also gives you insight on how to use the forum and how different traders can use it in terms of their individual needs. So you would go down to the bottom there, you'd click on where it says I have read all the rules, and then you would go ahead to the register the formal registration page, and that will bring up here. And you can go ahead and select the username, and how about we'll use 4x, and that name is already in use, so maybe add a few more x's there. Again, it really, your individual username is up to you, and you go ahead and fill in your password, your email address. Now the most difficult aspect of registration for the DailyFX forums will be figuring out these letters in the box here. Now I'm a semi-intelligent person, but I have a very difficult time figuring out which letters and numbers to use. Now there is a reason for this madness. It helps with security, but I would suggest just going ahead and keep on clicking that refresh image until something comes through that you can actually identify and see. Then you can go ahead and enter your birthday, but you can decide whether or not to display that to other forum members. And then also, if you were referred by somebody, you can enter that information there. The time zone, that should default to your computer, but you should double check and make sure. And then you can opt in, and I would suggest opting in for these emails in terms if the administrators want to go ahead and send you some notices about the forum, and then you would complete registration. Now what happens is they would send you an email to the email address that you put up here, and that email will include a link, and all you would have to do is go ahead and click on that link, and that link will bring you inside the forum, and you would now be a member of the DailyFX forums. Again, this is Matt Russell. Thanks for listening.